Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well this great evening. We are nearing Palm Sunday, and it's a wonderful time of the year. Certainly Easter coming up next week, and hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Self-control is the mastery of the day, my friends. And keeping that control is key. I am so happy to hear so many people. I try to get back to you if I can. And I apologize I can't get back to everybody, but I'm trying to get back to as many people as I can. When you're doing some great things, there's great things to see out there. I'm going to go back and look at all the comments for last week and go ahead and kind of thank people. Now, I'm still finishing up last week, so we got a few more people to go. So, Rudy F, thank you, my friend. True Northern Sun, thank you. Abraham, thank you, my friend. BeJa, I thank you. Alex McCunn asked about when benefits plateau. We had another comment like that today as well. And I think that the thought is that the benefits never really, in my mind, plateau. We see it differently because at the beginning of the process, we are so enamored with what's happened in the past. It's such a radical change that we see tremendous benefits. But the benefits continue. I have people who have crushes on me and winks and all kinds of stuff. And you're talking about, people who are in their 20s and I'm in my 61 or something like 60, almost 62 pretty soon. It's just incredible. But those don't stop. Now, what I think you're sensing and what I'm sensing is the fact that we've just become normalized to it. But don't take it for granted, because that's an easy way to kind of go back the other way a little bit too. But think in terms of that the benefits will continue to grow. I don't think they plateau. I think we see it as plateau, but those benefits continue to strengthen you. Your muscles get stronger. You have more energy, vital type things stay within you, and those things continue. So I think it's all good. So I don't really think it's plateau. I think we look at it differently, and that may be what you're sensing as well. Hamza Redfield, thank you, my friend. Burning Phoenix, Alan, Vicky, Hawa. I probably messed that one up, so I apologize. Level Earth, Hanifa, not Brolly. And Nathaniel Catto, thank you. And Alan again, and Burning Phoenix. So thank you guys for your comments. I'm going to finish up this page from last week, 2 weeks ago, tomorrow. All right, so at three minutes here, let's kind of talk about a topic of our viewer, Matt Yoder, gave us a nice topic I want to talk about today. His question was, where does your energy go when you release? So let's kind of examine that. And so I may say this, where does the energy go in release? Or just may in fact say something like, why is this bad that we're releasing? Let's talk about this as a question. So I want to bring some physics into this. I'll bring some kind of spiritual type of discussion as well. And just some kind of common sense type knowledge that it took me a long time to realize. The issue, my friends, my warrior friends, is not the fact that we don't make sense of this. It's more of a self-control thing that we're able to kind of handle ourselves. And I'll demonstrate why in a second. So when we talk about energy, one of the concepts that was discovered many years ago when I was in physics and science is the fact that energy cannot really be destroyed. You can transfer it. You really can't create it. It's there. All that's being done is transferring from one thing or another. Whether you're talking about sound waves, light waves, those things just kind of transfer energy. It could be sound, it could be light, it could be anything. But we happen to be made of molecules and energy. So everything that you see in front of you, even though it looks like a human person, it is a bunch of molecules, atoms, nutrients, all these things basically is energy. So this is why discussion talks about the hereafter. Many people get into this, the idea that something leaves your body, which makes perfect sense, because energy cannot be destroyed. So you're not going to be destroyed. Your soul, your spirit, what God has inside of you, will go somewhere else. And this is, we talk about the heaven and the hell and all this kind of stuff that we talk about. But the idea is that the energy cannot be destroyed. So when you have things inside your body that makes you grow, makes you stronger, God has given you that energy to accomplish a lot of great things in this world. One of which is having children, procreating with a female, and the female is ready to receive that. This is why they can sense any person who has a large amount of semen, because they sense it. They have high respect for you because you're not just using it all over the place. Now, they may not be able to say why, but they see a charisma, they see something in you that they just can't help themselves. They just can't help them. And you'll see it. I mean, you'll see it in women who giggle, play with their hair, all kinds of stuff. Because they sense this energy in you. They are programmed from when they're small to recognize males who can procreate. Warriors, there's so many men out there who are just empty. I mean, they're releasing all the time. And there's so many men who don't have that sort of charisma and power that when you're retaining. This is why we call it 1%. And most women, they can't deal with it. They don't know what to do. They're laughing, they're giggling, they can't even respond half the time. Because you are just so incredible compared to 99% of the males out there. And you don't give a crap anyway. You're not attracted to them. You're just basically kind of doing your own thing. And now they're chasing you. You know, they're finding ways to get to you, or to run into you, or bump into you, or somehow be near you because of great energy you have. Now, when we talk about releasing then, say for example you release. Well, again, that energy is not being destroyed. That energy is going into something. Now, when you're procreating with a female, obviously, you're transferring that energy from you, and men are tremendous givers, to that woman. Now, the woman may have a child with it. They may not. Just depends on what happens with her system along with your system, and maybe you come together and you have a child. I've had 3 of them, right? But the thing is, sometimes that doesn't happen either. So the energy but stays in the female. Now, why is that important? And you'll notice this, guys. We talked about this the other day. When you make love to a woman, warriors, you're exhausted. You want to go to sleep. That woman's so excited, they're up all the time. They want to do more things. Because you're transferred energy. They've gotten a kickstart. It's almost like you've given them, what are those, monster drinks? Something like that. I don't have those, but some kind of great drink, all of a sudden, all kinds of energy. And all of a sudden, you've lost that energy. And they've gained it. Now, if it's somebody you love, it's somebody that you're with, you're having kids with, that's your wife, well, that's one thing. And maybe it's somebody who you're close to as well, and you don't mind this. But this is why it's very important to keep in mind where and who you're releasing with. Too many people nowadays, especially younger people, they have high body counts and they just release with everybody. Because we're told in society, this is what you got to do, release. Well, I think that's a false matrix right there. I have found over the last 1,035 days, unbelievable. I can't describe it, how different I feel than I did feel before. It's almost to the point where I think, like our person that talked about this with the benefits, who was our person talking about the benefit, Alex, talking about benefits here. I'm at the point where I've just now taken for granted a little bit how wonderful this is. That's why, but I'm so afraid of not going back to the days where I was going back and forth because this is so great. And it's because you're keeping that energy and you're using that energy to accomplish other things. My energy level is so high that I can do things. I only need 3-4 hours of sleep. And I'm off and running because I love doing things. Because you have a purpose now. God is with you. And I believe you become closer to God because this is the way God intended man to be. Someone who's keeping their energy, using it for things that they have to, for God's purposes, and procreating if they have to. But not sitting around just wasting their energy, throwing it around. So let's take example, just to go back with Matt's question again. What happens if you end up releasing to pictures and you're doing it on a bed sheet or somewhere else, right? Where does that go? Well, remember, the law principle is you're always releasing energy. It's always being transferred in something else. Let me give an example of this when you talk about transferring, let's say, for instance, water, right? You take some water and you put it into I was going to call ice box. That's the old term, but a freezer, and you let it sit, and the water turns into ice. It transfers. The molecules change, they get bigger, and all of a sudden now it becomes an ice block. Now you put heat to that, or you boil it, and the water then starts bubbling, and the water will eventually evaporate. Well, what does semen do? Semen will also evaporate. Becomes a gas, and it can go anywhere. But the main thing is you're not doing anything with it. It's almost like you're just throwing it away. And think about this, when at some point you start throwing all this away, does it come back to hurt you? It hurt me a lot. I mean, I haven't been sick for many, many years. And especially over the last 1,000 days. Even with all the crazy stuff that's been going on in the last few years, I feel tremendous. I always have felt tremendous. I'll have a sniffle here and there, but that's about it. And I think the thing is, you realize that you have to be at 100%. And 100% means keeping your semen. Unless you have a situation where you want to let it go for someone who you like or love, or someone who you have in my case, it should be married, but that's just my preference. But somebody who you are having children with, some purpose. Too many people out there are just releasing that energy for no reason at all. They think it's a release to make them feel better. And you guys know as well as I do in our 1% club, it makes you feel better for about 2 minutes. And then you feel terrible. We've known it. I've experienced that for 40 some years. But it's only been over the last 3 or 4 years now that I recognize how false all this was. And a lot of this is perpetrated because people want an agenda. They have an agenda. Whether they want to make money, they want to control people, whatever it might be. But when your facilities, when you have yourself almost at full strength, it is unbelievable. We heard, all you got to do is read some of the comments that we get. Unbelievable. 50 days, 75 days, unbelievable effects. Women, you feel tremendous. This is because you're keeping natural energy. Your body is restoring yourself to that equilibrium. See, what happens is when you're releasing energy, that energy has to come back somehow, and it takes time to heal yourself. If you got people releasing 4 or 5 times a day, even at 20 years old, you can understand why they have dysfunctions when they're 25, 30. I mean, you can't just keep doing that. You have to replenish. I mean, it's almost like water. You got to keep giving it. You got to keep hydrated. You eventually become dehydrated. What becomes of you? You get worn out, and you become less of a man because of that. And I think that's the key to a lot of the situation. So this is a great question, just like we had yesterday from Odingo. I think it's a great question from Matt. Where does that energy go? So we've talked a little bit about where it goes, and I think the key is that you have to recognize this energy is in you. You are manufacturing energy. And unless you have a good reason for losing it, never lose it. keep it inside yourself as long as you can, and you'll see unbelievable benefits for years to come. I've done it for almost 1,000 days, almost 2.5 years now, and it's just phenomenal type of thing. And like you said, well, you see a lot of people saying the same kind of comment. So for those who are in small streaks, don't give up. Go back and forth, but look at the lifestyle change and recognize, unless you're having children, unless it's something that you really want to give as a gift to your loved one, don't just throw your energy away. All right, my friends, thank you, Matt, for your comment, and all the other people, thank you for shout-outs. I think I'll do one tomorrow. You guys have a great Palm Sunday, and remember 2 things. First, every day is a new day to a great warrior, and second, don't forget, guys, to battle!